And as you're hopefully getting settled, just a couple of things to note. If it's possible for you to move away from your workspace, I don't know where you are in life right now. So if you don't have a place that you can move away, if you're at the office, that might be hard. But if it's possible, I do encourage you. And if you can't, even just swiveling your chair away from all the distractions we're always bombarded with will help you settle into your meditation today. And I'm in a basement, so it's very cold where I am. So therefore, I always have my space heater for meditations. I recommend that you find the most amount of comfort so that you're able to sit. And if you find discomfort along the way, you start to fall asleep in an area of your body or something just doesn't feel great, definitely take the time to move and work that out. I'm keeping on my socks and my slippers today because it's really that cold, and I have this nice little cardigan. So if you don't feel like you'll be warm enough as we practice, feel free to bring a blanket, and you could just wrap it over your shoulders, like put yourself into like a little burrito or a cocoon and just rest.
It's going to be hard to work after that.
That's why I always say don't lie down necessarily, because I don't want to be responsible for you guys falling asleep. Like, well, I missed my meeting because I did meditation and she put me to sleep. Yeah, I don't know though. To be honest with you, I know what you're saying, but to be honest, I always feel like after meditation, I just am the best version of myself. Like I feel much more put together, much more able to deal with the things. You know,
Oh,
you're not
yes.
fly off the handle. So
Oh, yes, I agree. These are great sessions.
thank you. I'm so glad you're here. And my name is Tiffany, if we haven't had the pleasure of meeting today or any day. But my friends, before we get started, a couple of other little like housekeeping things. I don't play music because I'm finding that the Zoom is really challenging to coordinate my voice and the music together. It usually puts one on and pulls the other off. So if you'd like to have a little something playing in your background, I'll always have you all muted. Feel free to do that. And also coming and going is fine. You know, everyone has obligations. If you need to come later, leave early. If you do and we miss one another for the whole session, you can always revisit the meditations. I usually will have them up about that night or the next day by Thursday or so. But the page is Yoga for You. That's the number 4 there. Yoga for You. Oh, there it is. Space NJ. So that's the YouTube page to revisit anything that we've done. And something else that might be nice, some folks like to burn a candle and they'll watch the candle flame. You know, if you had a gas fireplace or a real fireplace, that can be a really nice way to just take yourself out of your head for a moment and focus in. So when you're ready, we'll leave our areas, hopefully, at least try to like turn yourself to the side so you're not distracted. And you'll see how my setup is. I'm gonna head back to this cushion that I've pulled off my couch, taking my trusty space heater with me. This cushion that I pulled off my couch, and then just a little throw blanket. And I'm super warm with my socks, 2 different color socks today, and slippers. I don't know about you, but it's always hard to find the matching socks, so I just go with whatever I can find. And we'll get comfy. It's okay if you're staying in your workspace, your work chair. In that case, just move yourself all the way back to the edge of your chair so that your back feels the beautiful support. If you're seated on the floor and you get really uncomfortable, your back is fatiguing, feel free to press your back up against a wall. And to begin, we're going to take a little bit of movement so we feel that we can arrive in this practice. I am so glad you're here. The hardest part is making the time to arrive. From here, it's just a whole bunch of relaxing fun. Tuck your chin down towards your chest and envision that you had a puppet string on the back of your neck. Someone's guiding the back of your neck up tall, gently lifting and elevating the back of your body. And as you dropped your chin here, soften down your bottom jaw, try to separate your teeth. Allow your tongue to land heavily on the back of your bottom teeth. Moving your eyes forward towards me. Take a big breath in through your nose. As you move your head to the left side, we'll take 2 puffs out, like a sound on the exhale. And we'll practice this several times. Inhale, come back to me, eyes to me. Move your eyes to the right side and blow one long exhale through pursed lips. Inhale, eyes to me. As you look left, 2 sounds like a ha, ha, but soft, like you're fogging up a mirror. Inhale, center. Pursed lips, exhale to the right. Inhale, center. 2, ha, ha, to the left. Center, inhale. Pursed lips, exhale to the right. 2 more rounds of this breath. Inhale, known as resurrection breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more round through the center, a soft inhalation, allowing yourself to connect to the present moment. Exhale as you turn your head left. Inhale. Pursed lips to the right. Eyes back through the center. Still feeling that connection through the back of your neck being lifted, maybe even floating from the top of your shoulder blades. And a sense that you have an apple or an orange underneath your chin, holding it against your chest. We feel like our chins are pretty parallel to the floor here. Let your arms fall somewhere lower than they were. Maybe they're even dangling if you're sitting in a chair. And take a few shoulder circles backwards. As we arrive into our practice, remember that this is a practice every time we come. We're not aiming to be perfect here. We're looking to find a sense of wholeness. And this journey may require us to be non-judgmental. Most importantly, it may require us to be curious, just checking in with what we find. And be compassionate. If you're circling your shoulders still, try to switch directions. Let your arms be long and soft. For me, I like to take my eyes downcast. If you're looking down though, let's try to make sure there's nothing stimulating down there. Taking your eyes off of things for a moment and then soften them to little slits. So you're looking through your lashes. Things may become blurry and unfocused. Bringing your hands somewhere that the shoulders still feel restful, but you feel really comfy. And if you'd like, you're welcome to close your eyes altogether. Moving into a fundamental connection meditation practice today. Taking a little bit of a different approach to whether we feel connected to the elements. Just checking in. Remember, non-judgmental, my friends. Think about this as a child, very inquisitive. A child has that beautiful nature that they're just curious and they don't form judgments. They're compassionate, they're brave. That's how we're looking at ourselves today. Examining our body, giving ourselves space to drop in, and deeply investigate how we feel connected, if and whether we feel connected to elements in our body. If we bring an open mind, we may be able to learn amazing new things about ourselves. That's what makes the practice fun. You never know what you'll discover. And our minds are very busy. So if you wander away from us, no harm done. It happens to me all the time too. Just gently guide yourself back to what we're practicing here. Mindfulness is about seeing clearly. Sometimes looking at things from a new perspective can help freshen things up. It can often bring that sense of clarity back to ourselves. We're settling deeply into the bowl of our hips. We may notice as we go that we start to hunker down a little bit, and that's nice because you're relaxing. Remember to build up that long spine. We're sitting here very beautifully confident, erect but not rigid, not stiff, softening in around the confidence in our spines. As we rest today with this quality of openness and being with whatever arises in our experience, we'll bring with us this nature of compassion, allowing whatever is to be. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment, and everything that needs you, that is waiting for you, all the to-dos and the to-goes will still be there once we move on. Everything in our world consists of 4 primary elements: earth, fire, water, and air. Observing the presence of all 4 of these elements within ourselves, or even just one of them, you don't have to resonate with every single one, but this is a really beautiful and important way of recognizing how our individual compositions are the same as the composition of the rest of us that are here practicing and everything else in the universe. How cool is that? This feeling that we are one, this knowing, this learning, this accepting that we are one. Let's start today with air. This is one that I believe is easier for us since we just practiced our resurrection breath together. So you've already connected with the element of air. Now, another way that we connect with that, anytime we move, maybe you have to move around a little bit to get comfy again, start to sway or roll, or just move our body here and there. It's as though wind has taken over, this air element. When we walk, when we move in life, we know that we're dispersing air and creating movement, however subtle that may be. As we slow down and pause, perhaps you notice the element of air moving your body somewhere. Maybe it's just that little divot in your throat, or it's a widening in your throat. Maybe it's an expansion of your abdomen, movement in your chest, or your back and shoulders could be moving in response to your breath. If you don't notice those, maybe perhaps you feel the movement of air around your nostrils. And if you don't, you can take your finger, and as you breathe out, notice that warm air moving against your finger. So wherever you've been able to connect with the quality of air, let's stay here for a few moments before we move on. Breathing in. Breathing in the air element. Breathing out. Continuing this seeking, this recognizing, and this feeling of connection. The earth elements as we move on, our physical form. So you're definitely in connection with your earth element. You are, I promise. Let's say you have your hands resting on your legs. Anything you can feel, anything you can touch is your earth elements. So even the clothing that is against your flesh, the flesh that's against your bones, your hair against your skull or your face, your backside, your ankles, your feet against the ground, your supports against your points of contact. Can you notice when we tune in and settle where you're feeling tight? Remember that this is non-judgmental. There are no stories attached. We are here to be the noticer, the casual observer. And where do you feel relaxed? Can you notice your mouth, where your lips meet? Do you notice the subtle pressure of your eyelids softening down over your eyes? And are you able to allow this feeling of solidity flow into and merge with the earth element? Literally like you're melting down and becoming one with what you're sitting on, upon, or what is around you. Letting these elements merge, staying here for a moment as we harness that connection, solidify that connection, explore it. Moving on to the water element. I just noticed mine because I licked my lips, so that's a pretty easy one. Now, aside from our saliva, if we could envision the blood through our bodies, our urine, our tears, the quality of moisture in our eyes, it's a binding element, so it makes things come together. If you think about how you would make dough, you add water to flour, that binding element. Thankfully, our bodies have about 60% water, so whether or not you can really sense that, you have this beautiful water element within you. Maybe there's some perspiration. Maybe that space heater was a little too much and you're forming some beads of sweat somewhere. Can you possibly try to connect to your heart beating and get a sense of your blood pumping? I'm really fortunate that I can connect to that one today, especially because last night I gave blood. So I actually, sometimes you can feel it, like as you roll the little stick in your hand, you can feel the blood moving. So I'm just thinking about that right now to connect with my water elements. Let's linger here. Continue seeking. You can lick your lips if it's challenging, or maybe flutter your eyelids. See if you can recognize and feel for a few breaths the element of water, the quality of moisture. Moving into our final 4 primary elements is what we're focusing on today. So our final element for today. Heat, the fire. If you're like me, I'm an Aries and we are naturally feisty, fiery people. So some of us will just very much resonate with that fire element. We were talking before class about how meditation can really help you ease out of the spicy nature. If you tend to be one that can fly off the handle easily, your switch flips quite often, you have this fiery element. I really love a daily meditation practice to help tone that back, calm that down, approaching everything for the rest of the day in a more level-headed, even-keeled way. Now, aside from that, your personality, your fire element will also indicate your temperature. So, if your fingers are kind of chilly right now, or your toes, you know that you're in touch with your fire, your heat element. Probably had something, right, to eat or drink so far today. So that capacity to digest or to eat, that's our fire element. Can you pinpoint specific areas of your body that are feeling warmer? or colder than another? Is anything tingly from being still? Maybe now that you've slowed down, you notice that there are temperature differences, perhaps just from the back of your hand to your palm, whichever one is resting down, probably is a little warmer. If your soles of feet are resting or the outside of your ankles are connected to something, does that area feel a little warmer than the opposing area? And then are you able to blur those lines and allow everything to become one? Bringing it back full circle to the beginning of our meditation when we talked about how we all consist, everything in earth, including all of us, consist of these four primary elements. And I love this reminder, this recognition, because unfortunately, we are very well aware of a lot of separation in our world, but at our core, at the essence of our being, I hope that we can recognize that there is no distinction between us. We have this complete oneness of existence and manifestation. So if we could just notice that and remind ourselves, without the feeling of separation from the rest of the world, I believe that we can lose the strain, the stress, the desire to be better than someone else, to accomplish more. We just start to be. That's really all there is to it, just being the best version of ourselves. So let's remember that we are air. We observe. Hopefully throughout the day, we continue to check in as we breathe. And that helps us focus and decide. Perhaps you join me as we connect again to this element. I am one with air. I rise. I like to envision myself at that point, like rising above. I see no limits on love in life or in myself. Remember that we, you and I, are air. We tuned into our earth element next. Grounding, giving. Remember that sense of melting and becoming one, giving yourself. Building up as we built this beautiful long spine. And with this sense of giving and building, we heal. Maybe you like to join me in this connection. I am one with earth. I am strong. I am grounded. I like to see this one too. My thick roots stretch miles in the dirt beneath my body. So I've got a lot to get through. My roots are going to go through this blanket, this cushion, this floor, this foundation, all the way down into the earth. I told you I was going to ask you to be open-minded. So we are one with earth. After earth, we moved it back into our water element. Maybe you lick your lips again. Just trying to reconnect here with water. So if you have tears when we cry, we cleanse, right? Tears help us cleanse out our eyes sometimes. I love seeing like a buoy buoyant in the water. And what does that create? This sense of If you envision that in your head, what does that create? A sense of flow, right? So amazing. I always like to think about moving through water when I'm feeling stuck. And in turn, water washes, yes, so it can help us let go. So maybe join me in this connection. I am one with water. I move freely, adapting to change that comes my way. And finally, we met with an open-mindedness and a sense of curiosity that we are fire. We burn sometimes, and in that burning, we also know that we can tame ourselves. If we didn't have one, we wouldn't know about the other. We adapt once we tame. And then, of course, we're going to reignite again. We are humans after all. So knowing that we all do this, no matter how one portrays oneself, everyone has this fire element. And at times, we're all going to burn, and then we'll tame. Maybe join me in recognizing this. I am one with fire. I carry the passion to create deep within my belly. I can create life. I can create art. I can create connection. I am one with fire. Most importantly, as we finish our formal practice together, my friends, let us connect with one, becoming one, maybe starting to believe this, recognizing it, or fully embracing it. I am one with my mother, our mother, Mother Earth. Together, we are stronger. We are limitless. I am me. Bring hands to cover heart center. Just take a moment to reflect upon anything or all that resonated with you. I am very grateful that you practiced with us today, helping us build this community, hold ourselves accountable to show up, and hopefully leaving feeling the best versions of ourselves. Take a little tuck of your chin. We're going to smush that apple or that orange we were holding to give ourselves a little bow. Bow to our practice. I bow to you. My light sees and honors your light. In our practice, we are one. Thank you for joining me, my friends. Take great care. I cannot wait to see you again. And namaste.